There once was a boy who said, "Damn, for it certainly seems that I am a creature that moves in determinate grooves. I'm not even a bus, I'm a tram." I picked up that lyric from Alan a long time ago, and I always liked it because it's such a great example of how we think about the free will versus determinism debate and the category. So I've done so many videos on unpacking thinking, and the trick behind thinking is that we think in categories, and the free will versus determinism is just another mental category, which gives the appearance of existing, but that's it. There's nothing behind it, and you can prove this to yourself. So right now, as an exercise, dig deep and say, explore, what do I mean by free will, without using other synonyms, without using other words that mean well, there are options. Well, do the same with determinism, and don't use other words that mean that everything is a closed system without options. And what you'll discover is there's no way around this. We really don't know what it is. It's just this word play. So the free will versus determinism is just another trick the mind comes up to make it think that it's thinking about things. And this happens quite a bit. I love philosophy, but it does happen quite a bit in the world of philosophy. And that's why science, in one of its more spiritual moments, had to come up with another option. And so part of science is to define things in what they call operational definitions, which when I used to lecture on this, I would say the real trick here is they're conscious definitions. So an operational definition is when you define something by the operations by which you measured it. So I was talking about IQ test a while back. So if I give you an operational definition of intelligence, it would be your score on my test. And you may not like that definition, but it's clear and you can become conscious of it. You can see the score right in front of you. If I say consciousness is how smart you are, well, that's not an operational definition because I can't become conscious of how smart you are. So science, in this real spiritual moment, appealed to consciousness as being the way to settle these debates of what is real and what is fantasy. So when it comes to the ego, is the thinking mind free? Well, I've done so many videos on the computer-like nature of the thinking mind. You don't think your thoughts. Your thoughts are a product of the culture that you live in and the moment and the environment and genes and trying to get this meat suit to survive and pass on its DNA. And so everything about the thinking mind is already preset. And if you could control your thoughts, you would. And so no one would worry. Worry wouldn't exist because people intellectually understand that worry doesn't help and they would just shut off the worry machine. But of course we can't. So when it comes to the thoughts and the thinking mind, that is a tram and there's no way around this. So what about God? Does God have free will? Does consciousness have free will? So if we go back to, was the Big Bang a choice between is there nothing, is there something? Well, again, I just told you that the dichotomy is a fake one, and so here I am exploring it. But let me give you some hints about the nature of consciousness, because so much, particularly in the East, when they talk about free will, they do get it as a paradox. Like, yes, there is free will, but no, there isn't. And what they're getting at is, when it comes to the ego and the way the mind thinks, yes, there's no choice in any of that. But there is something more mysterious that we might call freedom, free will. And we do see this in the human experience. We see it when we take an extra breath. And so we become conscious of our breathing and we take a conscious, intentional breath. We see it when we slow down. So instead of just eating like a robot, we become mindful of our eating and we take one conscious bite. And that seems to reflect that element of freedom. We see it when we change careers or we get out of bad relationships or we change a bad habit. And the thinking mind isn't really sure how we did it. We just wake up one morning and we stop doing whatever we were doing. And we take this big change in life and we forgive someone or we love someone or we fall in love. And none of these are happening under the will of the ego because the ego has no will. But they're all the artful form of consciousness exploring the very nature of its own existence and choosing to do so.